Hey everybody, I'm Richard Krause and welcome to It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Now how many times have you said to yourself, I'd love to have a beer, but I also feel like having a Bloody Mary? Well, today I'll teach you how to do both simultaneously. The drink is called a Michelada. And traditionally, it's made with a lot of stuff, and a lot of stuff you probably have kicking around the house. Beer, lime juice, spices, tomato juice, and some chili peppers. It's served in a chilled, salt-rimmed glass, and there's a lot of variations of this drink throughout Mexico. Today, I'm putting my own spin on it. I've combined a few different recipes and come up with a refreshing, and I like to think, ultimately tasty version. But first, where did it come from? Well, apparently a guy called Michel Esper used to hang out at a bar in San Luis Potosí in Mexico. And instead of just drinking beer, he'd order this concoction of beer with lime, salt, ice, and a straw in a cup called a chabela. It caught on, and soon the other customers started asking for beer as Michel's lemonade, with the name shortening over time to Michelada. Now you're probably asking, why do I have all these naked limes in my hand? Well, limes are crucial for the drink, and this is the only part of the drink that's going to take you any time at all. You can buy a chili salt blend to put around the glass, but I've decided to make my own because I couldn't find anything that I liked out there. But first you have to find a glass. Man, this one's really cool, but it's not quite right. This one is really cool too, but we'll use it another time. This one kind of seems appropriate, but you should be able to see through it, I think. Hey, you put spices in it, why not use this glass? Nope, all those glasses are cool, but they're not quite right. You need something, I think, that more in the beer line of things. So I've decided to use these cool mugs that I stole from the White Horse Tavern in Greenwich Village on the day they shut down for renovations a couple of years ago. It's a beer mug, but it's perfect for this kind of cocktail. Okay, so I told you about the naked limes a little while ago. The reason they look like this is because I've spent the day with a microplaner like this and just taking the zest off them. And the zest is just the outside part. You don't want too much of the white stuff underneath because it tends to be a little bitter, but it takes a little while to do it, and it makes your kitchen smell like a lime orchard. I don't know where limes come from, but it makes it smell really great, and it's really nice in the drink. So you take that, you add in the salt, and I've used, it says use a cup, I don't know, do what feels good for you. And you've got that, and it's flaky, so it hangs onto the side of the glass really well. It's a nice presentation. Take this, just mull it together a little bit. Add in your chili powder, and then add in, I like to add in a little cayenne because I think it's a little unexpected kick that you get on the rim of the drink before you even get to the drink. And then you just take whatever shallow dish you have. I'm using one of these things that I just pulled out of the pantry here. Pour this stuff in here, and what you have now is the perfect setup to make the great presentation for your Michelada. So take a lime, and I've talked to you about this before. You take a lime and you slice it down the middle like that so it hangs onto the side of the glass like so. In this case though, what we're doing is we're taking it and we're doing this, so we're getting a lot of the juice from the lime on the side of the glass, and then you take this and you just put it in like that, and that looks like it just came from the Ritz-Carlton. If you ordered a Michelada at the Ritz-Carlton, that's what it would look like. Okay, so now that you have all of this stuff done, the glass has been prepped, and you've got it looking stylish and cool, and it's going to taste fantastic. You know me, I like one big ice cube, throw that in the drink, and then it couldn't be simpler. Everything is in twos. So you take these little cans of tomato juice that I always use. You use about half of it. You want about 2 ounces of that in there. And then you take the Worcester sauce and you crack this open. This is where it kind of starts to feel like a Bloody Mary. Just a couple of those in there. You take some soy sauce. This is where we really deviate from the original recipe, but this is delicious in here. But again, don't overdo it. Just a couple of splashes of that in there. And then the hot sauce. You have to have hot sauce in this. It goes so well against the tomato juice and then against the beer. This is the main ingredient. It's from, well, other than the beer, it's the main ingredient. So I'm using Tabasco sauce. I like heat, but I want the heat to taste like something. I just don't want it to be fiery for the sake of being fiery. And the good folks at Tabasco were kind enough to send over a bunch of stuff for me to try with this. So, of course, there's the old standby. There's the original Tabasco. That's the one that your grandfather really liked, and your father, and you love it too, but it's not the one for this drink, I don't think. Then there's the habanero sauce. This one is really good, packs a bit of a wallop, but well, then before we get to the one I chose, then there's the sriracha, the Tabasco sriracha. It's really good, but again, it's not really a drinkable for me. I chose to go with the Tabasco Chipotle. It had just enough of the heat and the sweetness that it worked really well for this. So again, just a couple of dashes of that in there, and you're almost done. One of the most refreshing drinks that you're ever gonna have. And then we get to the beer. Now, I tried to get Mexican beer for this, but my local liquor store was sold out. It is screaming hot here these days, so I guess it all evaporated from the shelves. Instead, I shopped Canadian, and I'm using a special cerveza from Amsterdam Brewery, but any kind of pale lager will work really well, like Modelo, Pacifico, Tecate, Victoria, even Corona. Just make sure that it's really well chilled. That's what you really need here. So, crack that open. Oh, feel the goodness pouring into the glass. So good. And it'll take you a second to do that. While you're doing that, it's probably a good idea to add some lime to this. Lime is one of the key elements of this. We've got it in the rim of the glass, and now we put it in there, and you just give it a good squeeze. It's really hard to put too much lime in this thing. Do that, fill it to the top, and you're good to go. Okay, now I'm going to finish it just by using one of these cool Tabasco swizzle sticks that they sent over. And you know, if you want yours a little spicier than I want mine, you've got your own little bottle of Tabasco right there. So we'll just give the drink a little bit of a stir. You don't want to flatten the beer too much, and then you have a taste. That's really good. The beer is light enough, so you still get that beer kind of flavor, but the lime and the salt gives you a little tart, kind of beautiful burst of flavor every now and again, and it's really refreshing. I know a drink with tomato juice in it doesn't feel like it's going to be refreshing. This one is. Cheers, everybody. It's 5 o'clock somewhere.